Hello there, dear viewer. My name is Dante, and welcome to Cube World 101. This episode, I'm going to go through some basic info and character creation, so hang on tight. Cube World is an indie action RPG on the PC. It's made by a guy called Wally. His real name is Wolfram1Funk, and it's been in development since 2011. Cube World is heavily inspired by the three games Diablo, Zelda, and Minecraft. Diablo and Zelda has pretty much laid the basics for all the RPG features, and you might see certain mechanics carry over from those games to this game. For instance, in Cube World some items have to be identified to be used, which is the same as in Diablo. As I said, it's also inspired by Minecraft, and that is heavily visible even when you start up the game. When you start up Minecraft, you see the title of the game on a rotating background showcasing all that is Minecraft, the art style and the blockiness of the game. When you start up Cube World, you see kind of the same. You see the Cube World logo also on a rotating background showcasing the Cube World terrain. The fact that both games are voxel-based games also adds to the accusation that this is just a Minecraft clone, but in reality it isn't really like that. While Minecraft has a heavy emphasis on building, Cube World has a lot more emphasis on exploring and leveling up, and is therefore much more RPG-like than Minecraft is. All in all, the two games aren't that similar at all. The main mechanic in Minecraft is that you can remove blocks and then place them again, and you can't do anything like that in Cube World. But even though the two games doesn't have that much in common, I think it's okay to compare them, mainly because the two games are both indie games, and they're both voxel-based games. As a last notice, I'll mention that Cube World is currently in an alpha state, which means that everything you see here might be changed later. When first starting Cube World, you'll have to make your first character. In Cube World, there's much to customize with many different hairstyles and colors and faces. You can also choose between 4 different classes: the warrior, the mage, the rogue and the ranger. There's a lot of difference between the 4 classes, so it's very important you choose a class you like. I won't go through all 4 classes in depth, since the classes are pretty complex and would take me a long time to go through everything. Therefore, this is just a brief overview of all 4 classes that might help you decide which one you want to start with. The warrior is a melee fighter class. He has the heaviest armor in the game, which makes him very tanky. He's also the slowest hitting class in the whole game, but he makes up for it in tankiness. The mage is a ranged DPS or healer. He uses very weak armor, but can still be a tank, though he won't deal any damage, if he focuses all his energy and time on healing himself. The rogue is also a melee fighter class. He uses leather armor and he focuses a lot on critting his opponent for gigantic damage. He also has a stealth mechanic he can use in various situations. The ranger class is a ranged DPS class. He deals a ton of damage with just ordinary arrows, but he can be a tricky character to play since you have to aim every single arrow to be effective. At this moment, the ranger also has quite a severe bug on him. His attack number 2 is bugged and appears to be dealing no damage at all, which is kind of a bummer. All the classes are fairly well balanced with no particular strong class, but if you choose a melee fighter as your first character, it might take you a bit of time to get used to how to fight. You can also choose between 8 races when you make your first hero. The races are the human, the elf, the dwarf, the orc, the goblin, the lizardman, the undead and the frogman. What race you choose really doesn't matter a lot. There are no racial skills or no racial bonuses, so you should really only choose your race depending on what you think looks cool. There are only 2 races that are different from the others, that is the goblin and the dwarf race. If you choose either a goblin or a dwarf, instead of being 2 blocks tall, you'll now be 1 block tall. This will make you more agile and a more difficult target to hit because you're smaller. It'll also make you able to fit through windows in the houses in the city. A minus to being small is that you'll be more easily knocked back by attacks that have knockback effects. All in all, what race you choose isn't really that important, and if I were you, I would focus more on choosing the class that fits you the best. Thank you for watching the first episode of Cube World 101. My name has been Dante, and I'll see you next time.